Alright guys, Bruce here again, KB45 Modern Warrior. So today we're looking at what I have in my bug out bag. I actually already did a video on this before and I took some flack from some of my friends because they're like, hey, you didn't really lay it all out there. And it's true, I didn't show everything in my bag. And they thought that this would be a better format. So listening to the people that look at my stuff, I said, alright, I'll do it again. Here's where we're at. Okay, so this was the bag at the end. I'll show you what it looks like when it's repacked. But for the most part, this is what's in it. And so my go bag is not strictly a go bag. I mean, my go bag is actually like a Goodwill bag and a get home bag. I would not actually call it a go bag, even though everybody understands that, I think, at this point, what that means. So mine is packed with plenty of food. Okay, so each of these, there's at least 1,500 calories in each of these containers. This will buy somebody a whole day. There's a little more than that in a few of them, but about 1,500 calories. And so I run 2 of these, and then I run almost another 1,000 calories of tuna, okay? That way I have plenty of protein. It lasts forever, the heat doesn't bother it, the cold doesn't bother it. It can freeze, obviously, but it's in oil mostly, not just water, so it does okay. And for that matter, everything could freeze, so be aware of that, and heat will get to some things. So, but these are, you know, like I like to stop and help people on the road that are broke down. If they don't have food, I can give them one of these, and then I just repack it later, okay? So, starting with food. So this bag, depending on how long you're planning to pack, right? So for me, I figure 50-mile radius. That's kind of what I like to play with, okay? 50 miles is about what you can do. You can do that in 24 hours. Because 3 miles an hour, you know, some guys are like, well, 2 mile an hour average. Okay, well, you still have 24 hours, so that's about 48 miles, all right? And that's if you can go straight through. So that's one full 24-hour day of travel. So if you pace that out and you're like, okay, here's 2 solid days of food, but if I need to move slow, whatever happened, I don't know, you know, natural disaster, whatever. So I can split this out and I can make it work for, I could get 4 days out of this based on the way my metabolism runs, what I can do and how I can fast or not fast or whatever. As long as I have water, I'll be okay with what I've got here for up to 4 days. So that's kind of how this is built, all right? So I should be able to move that distance on just about any terrain within a 4-day window, hopefully with just in 2. So you can't always move at night, so that, you know, you gotta be careful moving at night, especially if you're going across terrain. If you don't have enough moonlight or ambient light, you can get in trouble real quick. You can, you know, stumble, whatever, you can bust an ankle, all sorts of things can happen. So here we go. So these, that's what this is for. So this is part of the Goodwill initiative and preparation. So I will say, like, other than the firearm, this is a very similar kit to what my children pack. My wife has packed for my children. So with the exception of a few very specific things. I have a lot more medical than they do. They're gonna have 1 bandage, 1 tourniquet. They probably will have a tourniquet. I don't know how she's packed those for sure. But okay, so moving on, sleeping. Okay, 30-degree sleeping bag. If I've already got clothes that I'm wearing, I should be able to make it in that. Okay, I have this cool little thing up here. So this is an emergency sleeping bag. I don't know what all the proprietary fibers and what they've made in it, but so the way this works, you can slide into this, it will retain 90% of your body heat, okay? So even if you just have your clothing on, this will save you if need be. That being said, it's waterproof, windproof, everything else. So if you had to, you could use this poncho. There's a lot of things you could do with this to protect yourself. You could cover your whole kit with it. And I'm not totally sure it would do that, but I carry some poly for that as well. Okay, so you can combine these two. If I'm not mistaken, you can wrap your bag with this, but you can definitely put yourself in this and put put yourself in your bag, okay? So now we're looking at being able to survive 0 if we have to. As long as we stay out of the wind, I think most of us could do that, because more than likely, if you're in that situation, you should have clothing with you to manage that environment. So if you have that plus this, you should be okay. Even if you didn't, you could probably make it work with this. Also have, so this is part of the medical kit, which I'll get into, but a Mylar blanket, okay? So that will save you too. I mean, that's essentially probably what's something similar to that in this. So you can wrap in that as well. So you can wrap in this, and you can cover with this, and you will have yourself a nice little warm area. You know, also use this to reflect heat off the campfire if that's what you're going to do. You know, there's all sorts of scenarios. But if you're moving in a bad situation, fire is not necessarily your friend. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but you're going to create, you know, a thermal footprint that you may not want if things go bad. I mean, that's how things are going down over in Ukraine right now. Night vision and thermal is kind of the new way of the world. So if something like that were to kick off, you want to be aware of how to deal with that. So I'm going to set these aside, but this is just, this is a decent bag, but it's like an Amazon purchase or something. So my wife, you know, we have a lot of children, everybody gets a bag. You know, like I said, it's a 30-degree bag. Actually, it says 15-degree. I wouldn't trust it to that, though. Not comfortably. So most bags are not comfortable at what they're rated for, but they will keep you alive. So anyway, this fits nicely in the bottom bag. This will cover you up. You got a good setup. I'll set that aside. Okay, so full change of clothes. One full change of clothes. You get wet. There might be a little bit more than that in here, but if you get wet, you're going to be in trouble because you cannot get dry. Most of what we wear is polyester and cotton. If you're in a bad environment, as far as cold temperatures, that is not going to be favorable. So you have to have a second change of clothes. You can live out of 2 changes of clothes for quite a long time if you have to. So second change of clothes in a bag, keep it dry, keep it, you know, sleeping bag gets wet, you know, that's kind of a rough deal. I should have a cover for that, like this, but I haven't done that. So anyway, but keep your clothes dry, okay? All right, and so the second change of clothes, if they were my size, if they were in need, if I needed to donate this to somebody, I could. It would just lighten my pack about 3 pounds, maybe only 2 pounds. Feels like 3. So, you know, again, prepping for me and for my family is about sharing. So it's part of our faith, part of, you know, our Christianity is that we want to help look after others. So that's part of what this video is for. So hopefully it'll be good for you if you haven't seen something like this. So that's that. Full change of clothes, guys. Heavy socks. If you want to carry light socks, that's fine. But make sure you got everything else. You need full coverage, just like if you were talking PPE gear for work. You know, you don't need skin exposed. You know, it could be, you know, in the Middle East or wherever in the deserts, they don't travel through the sun with their skin exposed because it'll cook you. So, you know, find something, hide under it, stay cool enough, but don't let your body be exposed to the elements. All right, so basic medical, and there's a lot of this because there's some trauma kit stuff in here. So on the outside, depending on what is in here, and you can watch the other video if you want, I went through it. It was a little rougher because I talked about my my safety kit in my truck box, and then kind of went through this. I hadn't done it recently enough, so it was just a little rough in getting through it. So anyway, but it's real, so whatever. Tourniquet, okay. This one, it's one of the better ones. You can apply this to yourself. You get, you know, you fall, you have terrible laceration, something in your leg, arterial, right? Like, you can wrap yourself up with this, okay? This is already bundled, it's in here. This is not going to be one that you can deploy with one hand. I mean, the kit itself you can deploy with one hand, but the way I have it packaged to keep it clean and safe, it's not going to work like that. So if you guys are running like you're really running and gunning, you're gonna have one of these on your belt, and you're gonna be set up different. Your kit's gonna look different. Okay, so this is, you know, more of, it is a trauma kit, but it's giving aid to others. So anyway, so there's that. Okay, so compression bandage, these are great. You need to have these for breaks, buying, you know, sprains, sorry, breaks and binds, talking about martial arts. Anyway, compression for ribs, whatever, okay? There's a lot of things you need compression for if you have an injury. All right, this is a nice one. These I'll get to in a moment though. So I have these down here. I'll go ahead and talk to you about them. So these are the really good Israeli ones. I carry 2 of them, and they have essentially this fastener, which is like a cleat. So it lets you double it over on your own, so you can compression wrap by yourself with one arm. Okay, kind of like your tourniquet. You can zip that down, twist it down. It's made to Velcro off, so you can save your own appendage. A lot of people think you should have more than one tourniquet, and I believe that's true. I don't carry more than one in this kit, but a lot of guys are like, wait, hey, you got, you know, they're combat guys, keep that in mind, but they're like, hey, you got 4 limbs, technically 5 if you count your head, but you're not going to tourniquet that off. So they're like, maybe you should have 4. Different guys run different setups. Anyway, these are really good. So somewhere, I don't know where it went right now, but so in one of these medical kits, I'm not going to tear it down, but basically this is all set up with ibuprofen, you know, things that are going to get you through if you get an infection. It's got a ton of bleed stop in here. You need bleed stop. So especially the older generation that you're around, like my dad is on, well, my father-in-law anyway, is on blood thinners. So bleed stop, okay? So this will clot just about anything. So if you have to, you'll dose it with this, you'll wrap it with one of these bandages, and it'll clot, and you'll get it taken care of. So chest seals, another thing. I don't see one. I've got one buried in here somewhere, but chest seals for like essentially for a lung puncture. So a lot of people, if you can't make vacuum, which it's not really vacuum, it's just cavitation on your lungs, it creates the airflow, you can get in some serious trouble real quick because you can't take a breath. So they have these really nice ones that you just peel and stick. You wipe it, it'll stick no matter what. You can go again. You have to have 2 for through and through, okay? So this stuff aside, one thing I said, like ibuprofen things, you need fever reducers, okay? So if something really bad happened and you got an infection, you're gonna need to be able to keep from having, you know, some problems with that. Or a child, you know, sometimes like everybody worries about stopping, you know, and it's valid. It's a valid concern that too much of any kind of NSAID, whatever, can be harmful. But if you got a fever that's going to cook you, you're in just as bad shape from that, right? So, like if you go to the ER, they'll give you such a load of, you know, Advil, whatever it is, Motrin, acetaminophen. They'll load you up. They'll wash you out with an IV, but they'll load you up to stop it because that's the consequence of not stopping it. So you want to have all of that, antacids, allergies, so, and histamines, antihistamines, okay? You need to carry those because there are things that you're going to encounter that you're going to have reactions to, okay? Antihistamine creams, all that, okay? Lots of gauze and bandages, okay? Now, this is part of that kit too, so this is just a continuation of it, but also have, so this is a syringe, this goes actually with, I'll show you that in a second. We'll get through here, but bandages, more anti-inflammatory, syringe, and gloves. Okay, so the reason it's set, this is for my water filter. The reason it's set up in here is so you could irrigate a wound if you needed to. That syringe is made to draw dirty water and push it into your bottled water filtration kit. Okay, so that's what this is. Saw your straw. Okay, so you can do it two ways. Fill the bag, use the straw. Okay, this is your filter. These work great. This thread's on. Okay, you can also adapt that to it, push it through it. There's just a lot of ways you can do it. A lot of times they'll use the syringe to draw out of a pool from the top, try to get the clean stuff. Fill this, then you hang it, and you just let it filter. Or this one is a straw, so you can squeeze it, drink out of it, but you can also hang it and let it weep through and fill your bottle. So if you're stationary, you know you're going to be sitting still overnight or something, you can set this up, have a full clean load of water to go in the morning. Now, on top of that, you see this nifty little box I have this in. So you can draw water. Packing is always the hardest part. So you can draw water. All of this Tupperware has secondary uses. So you can couch water, save water. You know, if you got rainwater coming down, you can capture it. You can pour it over into other things. Okay, you can transport it. These are sealed, so you can transport it in this if you had to. I don't know if I put that in my pack and guarantee it, but you could do it, and it would basically keep it clean if you wanted to set it aside. Sun tea, I don't have any tea bags in here, but like if you're in hot weather, put a tea bag in there, makes a nice sun tea. Okay. Yeah, so that's why the gloves are with the syringe too, so you could irrigate a wound. Okay, in that same kit is tape. This is also for just whatever you need to tape up, and Mylar. Okay, I got a whole lot of Mylar to stay warm as part of that setup. Now, when you're looking at Mylar, might as well go ahead and talk about it. You need to study on how to do it, but you can use this between you and someone else. Like if things were really bad in like a military situation, you can hide from basic night vision like with one of these. Okay, if you touch it or have contact with it, it's going to transfer through. But you can hang this, like you could put this over a shrub or some type of thing like that, and you could get under it, and it would dampen the thermal image of it. So there's a lot of thoughts for that, a lot of purpose, a lot of different things you can do. Obviously, it's not very mobile. I mean, you can fold it back up, that's all fine, but it's shiny. So if you're going to use it like that, you probably need some type of cover above it to hide it. So, and also, any of this packaging, if I had to, we were talking about chest seals, this is Mylar as well. So any of that, I could stick that on, and I could tape it down, and I could make it through. Okay, so there's that. Good quality rope. I don't know if I'd say it's a good quality rope, but it's a decent rope. I really like these carabiner hooks, and so what I really like about these, and they make them a lot of different sizes, but you don't have to know how to tie a knot, and you don't have to know how to untie a knot. So this, if you look, they have this spring-loaded cam, okay? So basically this is a lot like a pull strap or ratchet strap. That's how it's become. So you size your rope, you size your hook for your rope, or you size your rope for your hook, however you want to buy it, okay? This one's a 500-pound rating, and I have some smaller ones. They'll take quite a bit of abuse. They'll take more abuse than the cord or rope that you're using. So anyway, so slide the rope through, pull it through the chamber. As it draws back, that cam rotates in and locks it. So you can just hook this on whatever you can hook it on, pull your rope through, and then you're good. So with this rope setup, with what I have here, you could set up a fairly decent, you just pull this as a line, you have a tent, you have shelter, you're out of the rain. You got enough mylar here to do that. You know, shake it off, throw it in the sunshine, and dry out pretty quick, move on the next day. So that's one way to look at it. So this is only 75 feet of rope, I believe. So this was the largest setup I could make fit with my kit that I had that I was comfortable with. And honestly, this rope goes real quick, so does paracord. So that's the other thing. I've got cord up here. This is in what I keep in there as well. So pretty much have enough to do anything that might happen. Probably have too much cord, really. So we're not talking about climbing or anything like that with it, but this is 550 cord. This is about, I don't think that's more than 500, 600 pound rope either, but your paracord's super strong, but it's thin, so like if you're trying to lift something, whatever, it's gonna cut through your hand if you're not careful. So it's just the rules. It's like fishing line. It can be really strong, but it, you know, your hand can't sustain it. You need a glove or something to spread the stress out. Okay, so those carabiners are good. I really like those, and they work. I use them at home on projects even because they're pretty nice. So, all right, talked about this already with the food. Okay, try to keep. This is actually only about 700 right now. I'm probably missing a couple of them because I got into them the other day. But these are great. They get you through. I don't know. The hickory smoke one tastes pretty well. It's pretty good too. Okay, so, and then lots of paper. Okay, so this is like a high quality Kleenex, you know, tissue. For fire, for cleaning anything up, whatever you might have a need for, that's what that is. I mean, this can be a fire starter, it can be a you know, wound, it can just be that you're fine and you're having a meal and you need a napkin. So 2 of these are just extra because I could. So 2 sets of silverware, salt, pepper, napkin. It's always nice to have all the things when you're on the run. A good set of gloves. These are just your cheap, you know, 5 for $10 or whatever, but they are neoprene. I think it's neoprene. Pretty sure it's neoprene lined. So you could use this for wound care as well, but you could also just use it for anything where you're gonna have a lot of abrasion. So these are just cheapies, but they do the job. So okay. Now, getting into this stuff. Alright, so 2 more Mylar blankets. Alright, and then this is poly, so it's like a poncho, but it's a sheet of poly. So I could cover me and my whole rig and keep moving in the rain. Okay, so I could just hunker down like that if I had to. So that's, you know, being the weather is the enemy. So that's where you're kind of at. Right. Also this. So 2 things. There is toothpaste. Alright. So it's in little dried little flakes, look like Hershey Kisses. Well, yeah, not Kisses. Well, they look like Hershey Kisses, but like the little minis that you bake with, morsels. Okay, so if you want fresh breath when you're traveling, there you go. Take one of those out, rub it in, all that. Now, I don't have any in here. It's in this kit, but I also usually keep in this iodine. I believe it's iodine. It's the sterilizer for your water. So if you had to just pull raw water, you could, and you sterilize it with that. So water is critical. Like, you may get by in regular life with not a lot of water. If you're moving your body's going to use some water, especially if you're making heat. And if it's cold and you got enough clothing on that you're staying warm, you know, even like the guys I know that go snowmobiling, right? If they wear the full suits, they don't get cold. They actually sweat like crazy. But if they peel that off, then they freeze. So you're gonna expend energy and calories no matter what you're doing. So you need to make sure you're hydrated. So, and before I get to fire, I'll talk about that too. So this, I love this. My wife found it. I don't know anything about brands or anything, but so this is a folding portable bucket. Okay, so you can use this for whatever you want, but this is a water pail. You fill it up, you draw water out of that, you transport it. So if you have to make a camp, then you're going to take that and, you know, be able to go out, draw water, bring it up, and then you're going to be able to cook, sterilize the water, whatever you're going to do. If you have fire, you need to sterilize your water through boiling and stuff as best you can. If you know your environment, like where we're at, we have a lot of spring water. So if I draw off a spring, I'm pretty sure that the mineral content and stuff like that is going to be okay. I'm just going to boil it for bacteria. In the old days, we wouldn't have done that. We would just draw in the water and it would have been okay. But you never know now with all the things going on. So anyway, extra mylar. This set, so stuff that came from down lower, is on the very outer part of my pack. So you want to pack your rig so you can get to what you need to as quick as possible in the proper situation. So like if it's an emergency. So like with this, if you came up on an accident, whatever, people, when they go in shock, then they chill afterwards sometimes. Or if they just, you know, I don't know, for some reason, when there's events, people tend to need comfort. So you can give them a blanket and give them comfort that way. So, all right, so light, I won't flash it with it, bright. These are cheap and you can signal with it, you can use it. It's an alternative power source, it's got the USB terminals on it. I like this because it's cheap. That's what I like about this. So it's Defiant, it's like Home Depot's in-store brand, I think. At Christmas time, buy 3 of these for $12 or whatever. Maybe not now because inflation and everything else and the people in place, probably not. But you can get close to that. So find them on sale. This is completely rechargeable. Also, this is lithium, which for $12 you get 3 of these. Like, and I'm sure they're not that now, like I said, but it's completely rechargeable, and it actually will give you like where it's at. So it'll give you, you know, the volume of the battery or the capacity that's left. So, all right, here we go with this. I really like this. So this is an electric fire starter, essentially. This is an electric lighter. So I don't know if you see that. Hopefully. Okay. So that is electricity. It makes a little noise, but it's quiet. But it is hot. It will light paper. It'll light all kinds of things. So I don't know if you could sterilize a needle with it. I think you might be able to. It might shock you too if you're not careful. But you can definitely light, you know, all your tinder with that. So these are good. I don't know the lifespan on this, but this one's at least 1.5 years old, and it's still doing well. It's never been charged. It hasn't really been used either, but it's holding its charge. So just about everything is lithium now. And so, like I said, I didn't show that, but this one, there it is. So I think that's a Type B, the old USB. So this is rechargeable. So if I had this and I had this, I could make fire for quite a long time if I had a cord to connect them. I don't. So something to think about. I probably should get. Those will be laying around on the ground. If it gets bad enough to need this, there'll be all kinds of abandoned houses and everything else. So if I need it that long. All right. So this is really great. This is a lot of space, okay? This takes up quite a bit of your pack. But what this is So my wife loves me. She loves me a lot. Guys, best thing you can do in life is find somebody that loves you. So she does all this stuff. Okay. So this is an inflatable mattress, okay, to go under your sleeping bag. This rolls out. So I'm not going to break it all the way down, but so this is the actual mattress. You roll that out, air it up. This is the inflator for the mattress, okay? So you seal it. No, I'm not going to do it, but you cap it. Get a gulp of air, and then as you crush it down, you see it's capped off. You use it to inflate your mattress. Pretty cool. So that's a way to inflate your mattress without, hyperventilating, all that stuff. Use it for transport. You can also capture water and carry water in this. So there's a lot of things you can do. I believe they roll this like this, and then you push it. So anyway, like I said, so many cool things out there, and some of these things are economy stuff, like they were just on sale and decent enough to be in a one-time kit. I know you guys that really like to pack out, there's a lot better brands and stuff out there, but this one works well for me, so I haven't ever had to use it. So that'll keep you off the ground. That'll keep you warmer by being off the ground, and then you get in your sleeping bag, do all that. So, something happens, there's a movie that has a joke in it about not both. So you either get a warm meal and you move on because everybody can smell the meal you're cooking, or you sleep cold in a cold camp. Okay, well, you can sleep in a cold camp with this, be a lot more comfortable. So you're gonna need sleep. You're gonna need some positive sleep, so you can't move well. Now, I personally, I can make it a couple days without sleep, but being active that long without sleep, you're gonna need a nap somewhere in there. Plus, you're gonna need, if it's bad enough you need all of this stuff, you are also going to need to be aware. So, small naps, hopefully you can move with people, and, and there's protection in numbers. There's also, you're easier to find in numbers. So, not to get too far down the crazy trail, but that's the way it is. So, alright, so this is not in my bag, but it is in my vehicle beside my bag, and I would hook this on my bag as I travel. But this is a complete cook setup, okay? It all condenses down in here. I'm not going to break it down, but there's silverware, or there's some cooking utensils, the actual base for the butane burner, and then all of this breaks down into nice, neat little pans. Okay, so you have a cook base, you have 2 pans, lid, scrubby, makeshift ladle. There's just all sorts of stuff. So you can find these, I don't know right now, but like this is obviously a Chinese one. But the burner's what's critical, but they can't hardly mess that up. I'm sure they can, but if you want to go high end, you're looking at, I don't even want to say, but probably a couple $100. This one wasn't that much. You can get them a cheap setup like this and run it in an emergency situation. Like, honestly, you can carry this and carry it well, take care of it, even if the burner and stuff quits. You have a condensed kit to cook out of. So none of the food I have is things I'm going to cook, but if I had to hunt something, wild game, then there you go. I've got a way to cook it other than just on the fire. So, alright, so this is the knife I run on the outside. So when the environment shifts like that, there's just things that you can't deal with, right? So you have to have steel. Whether it's like really sharp steel or just steel, you need tools. So S carabiners, I like these because I can lash this. This is set up for Molly. This is a SOG Seal Pup. I like it. I haven't run it enough to tell you that it's the greatest or whatever, but it's nice. So it's sharp. I don't know what steel it is, CR7 or something like that, chromium. A lot of guys will take this off. I prefer for it to be blacked out. You're going to want it blacked out so it doesn't pick up the light. It is incredibly sharp. It is serrated, so you have the benefit of that when you're trying to, you know, rip through some cord or something, and then it's just sharp this way. It is a fighting knife as well. It's a little small for that, but you could use it in some type of scenario like that. If you so felt like you needed to, you could also attach it. You know, guys want to make spears out of them. You could do that. You could hunt. You know, you could fish with it if you had to. So, but what I like about this is what I'll be honest, this is what I like about it more than anything, is this pouch that's on here is perfect for a traditional Leatherman. Okay, so I can run my tool setup right there, have what I need, you know, knives, saws, basic stuff. This one's old. This is older than any of my children. So I got this when I was first married as an anniversary gift. So this is pushing 25 years now. The leather case for it's long gone, but the tool is still going hard. All right, so the beauty of that is it fits right there. So when this is on my pack, so if I want to move, this pack is not going to be totally inconspicuous. It is all blacked out, but it's not like I'm running a camo pack and all those things, okay? So it's not a gray man pack, obviously. It's not meant for that. It's meant to do all the things and get me home, get me the distance. There's some other bags I like a lot more than this one, but this is what I had. So, and it's built well. It's going to hold up. And that's really what it's all about. Other than comfort, it's not as comfortable as it should be. For my body type, I will tell you, like, everybody wants to run the bag on the hips and everything. A longer pack, like that one, the way it's set up, it stands too far off, so you're cantilevered too much by the time I load it out with all of this. So there's things in here, though, like this, that if something kicks off, I'm going to take the tools out of here. We're getting to this. The tools out of here, and I'm going to dump this box, okay? I'm going to dump 3 pounds the second I dump that box, and I'm also going to dump 2 to 3 inches out of my pack, okay? Now, it gives my pack structure, which is really good the way I have it packed now, but I'm going to dump that the second I'm either going to leave it in the vehicle and take what's in it, or I'm just going to go, I'm just going to throw it on the ground. I mean, it's a $200 item or more, but it is what it is, guys, when it's that time, There's a firearm in here. We're going to get to that. People are like, oh, it's expensive. Well, if you weigh the contents of this bag in dollars, that's nothing, right? So, I mean, it all accumulates, but survival is what's important, and you're not going to need that box. So, anyway, so that's what I like about this. 1 box of ammo, 50 rounds of 9mm. The old Spartan Vault here. So I'll turn this around. So this is what I run. So this was in another vehicle. This was just a vehicle setup. So this is just this is a Ruger SR9. This, honestly, it shoots really true. It's pretty solid, right? And I can hand it to anybody and they'd understand how to work it. Everything on it is ambidextrous, so that's what's nice about it. So if I have to run left-handed, I can do that, and I do carry one tool in there like that. So nice little this is a SOG Gambit. I like SOG stuff. There's better stuff out there, but for the money, this is pretty solid stuff. So the nice thing about this. And obviously this is, a pretty nasty tool, but it has, the retention is done through a little spring mechanism. So it's going to stay. You don't have any issue with that. And it's going to come out when you need it. So the premise of this is not necessarily to use it like as a self-defense tool, although you could do that, but to run it more like a diving knife. So when I'm running my pack, I'll run this. I'll either transfer this to my belt and run it, or I'll run it on the side like the way I have it lashed, which I cannot get to it timely. So the way this is set up, you can tie this off the cord, you can do whatever you want. So you can run it on your waist, you're going to drop it in your belt, you can come out, you know, those of you guys that know how to do that stuff, you'll understand. But for me, what I will probably do is I'll put it on that upper strap, and then if I take a tumble or anything like that, it's in a nice sheath. But if I need to cut myself free, I can just reach up and pull it off just like a diver would. And I didn't understand that when I originally got into all that, but basically, so divers wear their knife on their chest because fishing line. So like, I don't know about it in the ocean, but definitely in all the small bodies of water, you know, freshwater bodies that get people that dive, they're full of fishing line. So you'll get tangled up in that. You're underwater and you got to cut yourself free. A lot of them wear one on their calf, on their boot, whatever. I have some divers I know, and they're like, well, sometimes you can't get to that, so that's why they'll run it on their chest. So this, if we're talking about really being prepared, this is a nice setup for that because you can move it around anywhere. If you have the Allen head here, which I have in the kit, you can rotate this from either side, okay? And then it's a multi-position. You can do whatever you want with it, okay? So that's what I like to run. That's why I have it. It might just stay in this box its entire life because I may, hopefully with any luck, I'll never use this box. Okay. Now the other thing we want to talk about, you like SR9, Ruger. The Ruger guys are going to love this. Everybody else is going to be like, well, you should have a SIG in there. You should have a Glock in there. I'm a Glock guy. Okay. I don't care what you are. All right. The reason I have this in here, this is the most inexpensive semi-automatic pistol I have. It's 9mm. It has essentially a single action trigger, which is nice. So this is a very accurate pistol if you're used to it and you're running. It's finicky. It shoots everything. It doesn't jam. It cycles everything. It doesn't shoot as true with certain ammunition, and a lot of things that's true of a lot of firearms, right? So rifle guys, long range guys, they'll tell you, like, they dial it all in, okay? I don't like my pistols to be that way. That's why I like to run my SIGs and I like to run Berettas. I really like Berettas. They shoot anything, they shoot true. I know that's kind of getting, you know, they're moving away from the M9, but I'm a big fan of it. It just never fails. It just takes torture like crazy. I'm a big hammer gun guy too. I like double singles. So that's what I like about this. It's the single. So if I am within 50 yards of a, say, well, we could just say deer. Around here we have a lot of deer. We have a lot of turkey too, okay? So if I'm moving and it's that bad, I train well enough that I should be able to take a shot and get whatever wild game I need if it's within 50 yards, okay? That's what this gives me the capability to do. It's also very good self-defense, okay? So that's what this is in here for. And if it all gets bad, you're going to need it. And it's 9mm. I'm a 45 guy and a 9mm guy. 9mm is going to be what's laying around when you're traveling around if it gets bad, okay? So you might have to transfer it, you know, from their magazines to yours. I mean, everybody wants to run Glocks. So I think Glocks will be around, but now SIGs are around, Berettas are around. Run whatever you want. Just pick up the ammo as you go, okay? Now I don't want to get into all the firearm stuff, but the beauty of this, it is a concealment firearm. It's on the bigger side of the subcompact, but it's any of my 1911 holsters will run this, and I don't have this sitting here, but I keep a holster just floating with this. I put that on my waist, transfer this to my waist, dump this box, dump the weight, and then just roll, right? Okay. So the other thing is they make a 9mm takedown rifle. Okay, I don't have one, but Ruger makes it. It's the same as their 22 takedown, so a 1022. You know, it's been made forever, highly reliable. I'd recommend you have one of those if you build a kit like this and you want to have a truck gun. I would recommend a 1022. I'd recommend buying a high velocity long rifle cartridge to run in it. But getting back to this, the beauty of this is they make one in a 9mm also, and these magazines from their pistols interchange back and forth. So you can literally run a rifle that's, you know, a 9mm rifle is going to be a 100-yard gun for you, okay? It should be, all right? So you can take down game with that. You can do whatever other work you have to do with that, okay? And it breaks down. The reason they call them a takedown is they split. I wish I had one. I don't have one here. But they split the stock, basically the barrel forward. It comes apart there. And so you could pack that on the side of your kit if you needed to. If you wanted to add like a small rifle case, something like that, you could carry it in a breakdown format. All right, so that's that. And so the biggest part of why I keep this in here is for legal ramifications. I'll cable it. So there's two ways you can do it. I have a cable over here. So So the way these work, you can get it and look at all the reviews on them, you know. But cable drops in, you close it, you lock it, okay? So if you have the situation where you want to keep it really secure, you lasso this, choke it through some framework in the back of your car, secure it in here, and then run it out the zipper on your bag. That's what I would do. That's what I do in one of my setups. And then this is secure to your vehicle, okay? So they have to destroy the box, or they have to be able to cut this, all right? This takes care of legal stuff. You know, it doesn't take much to deal with this if you know what you're doing. If you come out of the construction industry, you'll know exactly how to deal with that. So, all right. So that is it. So we'll add, so I just run, this is just some Fiocchi range ammunition that's in there. I like to run full metal jacket stuff. That's what I like to run in everything, even with self-defense guns. I do like the Fort Scott munitions, the copper ammo. Everybody likes different things. A lot of people love hollow points. I like a self-defense round with full crimp on it, weatherproofing, you know, all that stuff. I don't like hollow points, and I have my own reasons for that. We train a little differently, but I don't want, for me, in my scenario, I would not want to have the round dump all of its energy when it's trying to penetrate a wall. I might want to penetrate a wall. So things to think about when you think about the way you deal with ammunition. But the biggest thing is this is weatherproof, so this will float. It's submersible. They have a vacuum seal on it even, so this, whatever's in here, is not gonna decay due to moisture and temperature variations. So it takes me back to this, okay? If you have the capability, if you're gonna run a little box of ammo like this, I mean, either shoot it ever so often, so you're just recycling it, or wrap it in Mylar, vacuum it down, seal it up. It's good forever. It's good for, I don't know, hundreds of years. So anyway, so that's the kit, guys. Hope it works out. Got a little scene at the end here I'll put on there. I'll show you guys what it looks like repacked. But if you have any comments, go ahead and leave them. And if you want to see anything about it or any other questions about it, I'm free to answer those if you guys leave something in the comments. So if you liked it, give us a like. And like I said, this is just us hoping to help other people. So that's the premise of this bag. You know, even all this stuff, right? So anyway, see you guys later. Alright guys, so here it is, repacked, 27 pounds, roughly an eighth of my body weight, so we're kind of in the realm of where it should be to be able to move efficiently. This is my outfit. This is just for what ifs and probable things. Your outfit will look different based on how you prepare. So anyway, hopefully there's something in here you saw that you hadn't seen before. You know, if not, thank you for watching the video, and this is my setup. So you guys go prepare and have a good day. Talk to you later.